Live stream. This is our first time live in a while. You might see a new face here. This is Bimba. She's new to the family. She's been with us for a couple of months, but you've never gotten an official introduction in a video. Would you like to say how we met her, Mai?
We were looking for a dog. We had a live stream where we were talking about me wanting a new dog, and it was a very thought decision. And then there was the agency where we find her. Makes like every end of the month an event where you can go and meet the dogs. So I remember that we went there, but we couldn't find anything that we like, and we were like kind of disappointed. I keep looking, and like a week after the event, they upload some photos on Instagram, and she was there, and it was the only dog we didn't met at that time
at the event.
But immediately as I look at her, I was like, oh, it's so pretty, I'm so in love. But we didn't know if it was a girl, if it was a boy, or whatever. So I showed him the photo, and he was in love too. And we immediately texted the responsible of the adoption, and she told us about her.
And by the way, you may have seen another video we did or another live stream where we had a different dog. So this is not the same dog that we had in that live stream. That was like a trial period, and that one didn't work out. But yeah, this is Bimba, and we've had her for a little while now. When you first read the description of her, she sounded like an awful dog, like she destroyed everything. So we were calling her the terrorist because based on the description that the person who was like, what do you call her, the foster mom wrote, it sounded like she was just this awful dog that destroyed everything. But having Laska and having raised Laska since she was a little puppy, I learned that a destructive puppy just means you're not exercising it enough. So I was pretty confident that that wasn't going to be the case if she got enough exercise. But anyway, we were calling her the terrorist, and we were like, is there another name we could go with? And then I jokingly said like Bin Laden. And then Mai was like, how about Bean? So yeah, then we started calling her Bin, or like Bean as in the Spanish pronunciation of that. And this was before we met her, but then we met her.
We had to go to San Juan del Rio. And it was crazy because all our family and friends were like, no way you went to San Juan del Rio. And also there was a lot of traffic. We went with Laska. We made like an hour or something like that on our way to meet Bimba. And when we saw her, it was like, she was like not knowing how to walk properly. And she was jumping like all over the place, and we were like, okay, this is definitely a jumper. We don't know if it's as destructive as they say, but she's definitely a jumper, and you can see
and a climber.
And a climber. So it was like, okay, she's adorable, she's very cute, but we weren't like actually really 100% sure about getting her. And after that, we went to Vegas.
Yeah, so after we couldn't take her right away because we were about to leave for Vegas when we went to meet her at first. So then we made that trip to Vegas. Unfortunately, Mai had COVID during most of it, so she wasn't able to leave the hotel room until like the 5th day. But then we got back, ended up taking Bimba home, and yeah, now she's part of the family. Oh, but after we met her, we're like, well, we can't call her Bean anymore, like short for Bin Laden or terrorista. So we're like, okay, what else? Like, what other names are kind of like that, where it still ties in the story, but it works. So I was like, I think I was trying to brainstorm, and then you said Bimba.
No, because you said Bimbo, like
the bread.
The bread. And I was like, no, not Bimbo, because it's not a boy. So what about Bimba? And that's how it ended, being called Bimba. And actually, the day before that she was with us, we started calling her Bimba, and she immediately understood by that name. So it was a very quick process on learning her new name.
Suzanne asks, what happened to Alaska? Nothing. She's just napping in the other room. She came in here to say hi right before we started the stream, but she, at her old age, she kind of just does her own thing a lot of the time and goes in naps and lots of sleeping. Do you still think it's possible to live in Mexico on $300 a month? I'm going to assume that's US dollars because that's what I've mentioned before. I don't see how that is possible. Yes, I do. Because like someone earning minimum wage here, that's what they make. So they manage to live on it. Now, maybe you'd have roommates. You'd be certainly cooking all of your own meals. You'd be shopping at a market. You'd be living in a very small place, maybe not the nicest neighborhood in the city. But I mean, I've been on a Facebook Marketplace looking at rentals here in Queretaro, and Queretaro is like probably top 10% most expensive cities in Mexico. And despite that, there's still rooms you can get. Usually it's like someone renting out a room in their house or something like that for as little as $50 a month. So yeah, it can be done. It's not a life I would want to live, but if I absolutely had to, yeah, I think I could. Dallas asks, is it safe to use Uber in Cancun now? So that's been in the news a lot, like with taxi drivers beating up Uber riders and throwing them out of the car and beating up Uber drivers. And yeah, the taxi mafia in Cancun has been a nightmare for a long time. And recently they like had some ruling in the courts, like fully allowing Uber. But when we were there, we tried ordering an Uber to go to dinner one night. We're never able to get a car. So I would use it, but there's so few cars available that you're probably not going to get a ride. Because I think the intimidation from the taxi mafia is like preventing people from signing up as an Uber driver. Let me know if there's any questions that interest you. How about this one?
What can you say about?
Well, I can't cook much. Well, I mean, I could follow a recipe. It's not like I haven't tried much, but I can make a mean pasta.
Your pasta is delicious.
That's about it. But yeah, she cooks lots of amazing food. She makes us delicious breakfasts all the time. I like her cooking a lot.
Thanks.
Alejandro says, thinking about Querétaro, will 3,500 USD a month be enough to settle there comfortably? What do you think, Mai? Would 70,000 pesos a month
More than enough.
be okay? So, like, keep in mind, the top 1% of wage earners here earn about $1,900 a month. Like, if you're at $1,900 a month, you're in the top 1%. So 3,500, you're well into the top 1%. So like, just that gives you a pretty good idea of how other people are living here who are actually working here. Want to talk about how Bimba and Alaska get along with each other?
I mean, they had a very good relationship since the very beginning. That was one of the things that marked the difference between Alaska and the other dogs, because obviously we wanted to get a dog with Alaska could feel comfortable. So every time we wanted to go and meet a new dog, Alaska was always with us. And the day that she met Bimba, Alaska wanted to play all the time with her. She was waving her tail all the time. And Bimba at the very beginning was so scared. So she was the only dog Alaska really wanted to play with, like immediately. And that was really cute. And after she came to the house, Alaska had exactly the same reaction. She wanted to play all the time with Bimba, but Bimba was super scared all the time. She unfortunately lived or like her short age inside of the house, so she was not very social with other dogs. And because of the size of Laska, she used to feel very, very scared. So at the very beginning, Laska wanted to play alone, like with her, sorry, and Bimba was running away from Laska all
Yeah.
the time.
Like before Bimba was adopted, she wasn't socialized. She never left the house. I mean, she was born into this house where like all the animals were neglected. But basically like one small step above being born on the street, or maybe even worse, because at least if they're a street dog, they can like go out and like figure out how to survive on their own. If they're locked in a neglected house, well, then they can't. um, but yeah, she was never socialized. She wasn't taken on any walks before being adopted. Uh, Not so much the fault of the her foster mom. It was just like she lived in a neighborhood where there's lots of street dogs, and she couldn't take them out for fear of risking Bimba's safety. What was Bimba's name before we adopted her?
Dottie.
Dottie. Dottie was her name. I did not like that name for her, so and I don't think mine did either.
No, we didn't. But actually, the first night that Bimba was with us at home, her and Laska were sleeping together. Actually,
They were cuddling on the bed.
It was like 3 a.m. and both of us were taking pictures of her and Bimba sleeping together in the same bed, because it was like we didn't expect that. And actually, nowadays the only problem we have is that Laska is very possessive with her food, and
It's getting better.
she's getting much better. But at the very beginning, it was a war if there was food.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't know, 70% better. But it's the only thing that makes Laska gel at Bimba, but that's all.
Ravi says 2 questions. Will there be a Vegas Super Bowl video next year? And which card is better, Hilton or Marriott? So will there be a Vegas Super Bowl video? I don't know. I usually don't go to Vegas during the really expensive times, and like Super Bowl time is always expensive, and if the Super Bowl is in Vegas, it's going to be even more expensive for rooms. But as for which card is better, I assume you're talking about the Amex Hilton Aspire card, like the top level Hilton card or the top level Marriott card with Amex. And the Hilton card is easier to justify. Both of these cards get you into the status where you get access to the lounges, and you also get free breakfast, and you get free upgrades to suites if they're available. So both those cards have all those advantages, and both of them get you a free night reward. But Marriott's, you can't use that free night reward at any Marriott. It limits it to like 85,000 points a night. But Hilton, you can use it at any Hilton pretty much. So Hilton's easier to justify because number one, it's a lower annual fee. It's $450 instead of $650. And also with that, you get $500 worth of credit. So they're basically paying you to have the card. Plus you get all these other benefits like airport lounge access, a free night reward every year, a bunch of benefits regarding like return protection. For example, if a company won't take a return, like if you want to return a product and they won't accept it, within 90 days, you can contact Amex, and they'll sometimes they'll have you send the item in, but to get a refund, but then most of the time they're just like, keep the item, we'll refund your money. And that's up to like $1,000 a year. So it's super easy to justify that Hilton card. but actually, I'm going to be getting both. Like I already have the Hilton card. I don't have the Marriott one yet, but I'm going to be getting it because I want that lounge access at Marriott. I want the free upgrades to suites, and I want the free breakfast anytime I'm staying at Marriott. So I travel enough that the Marriott will be worth it to me as well, but it's a little bit harder to justify than the Hilton. Mai, do you know how to make refried beans?
See.
Yeah.
I have to think about it. Like, what's that? Yes, I know what to.
I hear Alaska right over here,
Yeah,
by the way.
a wild animal is coming.
Alaska, Ben?
It's not that hard, actually.
Maya's so beautiful. Are you famous in Queretaro? Do people recognize you? You know, not nearly as much as when going to places where there's a lot of gringos, or like vacation destinations, those kind of places. And also, for some reason, when I'm alone, a lot more people say hi to me than when Maya's with me. I don't know why, but it seems like some people or more people respect like the distance or like are more nervous about saying hi if we're together. I don't know why, but yeah, that's just something I've noticed. Is interstate driving inside of Mexico safe? Go on the toll roads when possible, and only drive during the day. And then if you do those two things, it's going to be pretty safe most of the time.
And don't drive at night.
And don't drive at night. But there are still places around the country where you definitely have to take more precautions, where more bad stuff happens, like cartel roadblocks, carjackings, things like that. Oh, Nazca finally joined us.
Nazca is chasing me.
Why do you think the mafia doesn't want Uber drivers? Because they have a very, very lucrative business. And if Uber is popular, well, then they're going to get a lot fewer rides and will probably have to lower their prices a lot. But they're making a ton of money.
And also because I think the Uber apps, it's like it counts the time you are inside of the car. Like the most time you're in a car or using the service, the kind of like more expensive is the trip, but it's like kind of regulated, or I don't know how to say this. And the taxis at Cancun are way much more expensive.
So much more expensive
than at any other places. I mean, it's insane. So maybe they don't want Uber to become stronger because obviously people is going to choose Uber or taxi because it's going to be cheaper, because it's going to be more safe, and they have a lot of things to lose. So that's why they are not allowing Uber to become like more stronger there in Cancun.
Yeah. Immigration question. When you get a temporary residence visa, do they stamp the visa in your passport or do they give you the card? So basically, you would start by going to a consulate in your country where you're going to get a sticker in your passport. They're going to place a sticker on one full page of the passport. And that's basically like your pre-approval to residency. And then from there, you take that to the immigration office in whatever city you're going to. And then after you're done with the process there, you get a card, a physical card. So I got COVID too, but I got it before and like I was feeling 100% after like 2 days.
Yeah, actually he started first and I was feeling completely okay those days. And I think it passed like 3 days. I mean, he went through COVID and he started feeling much better. He started feeling normal. And it passed by like another 3 days, and I was without any symptom. And we had our trip to Vegas, and I was like, phew, I'm not gonna get COVID. because I took care of him all the time and everything, and I had no symptoms. Or we were like, oh, maybe I had no symptoms. So that's why we thought at the very beginning. So we went to Vegas, and the first day we were at Vegas, I started with all the symptoms right there. So it was like a late COVID of mine because we were not at the same time. So it passes by a lot of time until I started with symptoms, and unfortunately it wasn't Vegas.
The dogs are
They
just
never
running
played
around,
together, and now they're running
chasing each other.
everywhere.
But yeah, that was my
That-
first
that-
time with COVID. That was my third time with COVID.
Yeah.
I had COVID 19, 20, and 20.
1,
Two.
22, 21, 22. That's my first time. So by the time of Vegas, I was like, okay, I'm having just like very low symptoms. So I stood in the room the whole time, basically eating Uber Eats. And I told him, you should go out and record because there's nothing else you can do. So that's why we made it.
Yeah, so I'm basically, while she was stuck in the room, I went out recording the 4 videos that I shot there. I had to skip a bunch of comments. Why can't you take your, oh, sorry, this isn't to us. Oh, these are people having conversation in the chat. Would you visit Zacatecas?
I think so. I think the only way that it's dangerous is the Zacatecas road. It's very dangerous.
Like getting there from here, or?
I don't know, for Zacatecas to somewhere else, but I don't specifically know where. But I was talking with my friends about Zacatecas, and I think Real de 14 or something like that, which is another Pueblo Mexico, and they said that that carretera is super dangerous.
Oh, okay.
But
I've been to
I've been to
Zacatecas
Zacatecas
once, the city. It's a city and a state, and the city's beautiful. I would love to go back. I didn't spend much time there. Dixie says, love your vids, full of great info. Thank you very much, and appreciate you watching. And by the way, YouTube hasn't been serving the videos recently to a lot of people. So there's been a bunch of videos posted recently, and I'm getting messages and emails like, hey, why haven't you posted a video in 2 months? I've posted 7. And that's talking about YouTube. And then Dixie, this is a blank comment, but this might be you leaving stars. If you did, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. From the software I'm using, I can't see when stars are sent on Facebook, unfortunately, but they show up as a blank comment like this. Where's your home base now? Which city? We are in Queretaro, Santiago de Queretaro.
actually, no. How I know?
Well, more or less.
More or less.
In a suburb.
Not a suburb.
Henry with the first super chat of the night, $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much. He was asking the other day, he's like, hey, are you going to do a live stream soon? I was like, yes, I hope so. You want to take this one?
Buenas noches, May y Jordan. Me da bastante gusto que volvieron a hacer un live stream. Eres muy linda y espero que puedas salir en más videos con Jordan. Jordan, love Tangerine Travels. Great work. Yeah.
You want to say what that's saying in English? For those who don't speak Spanish.
Good night, my Jordan. I'm very glad to come and see you again together in a live stream. You are very nice, and I hope that you can go out in more videos with Jordan. And that's all, Jordan. Love Tangerine Travels. Great work. So thank you so much, Henry. Yeah, it's been a long time. I haven't been here around, but I'm very happy to be back.
We're talking about doing something on an upcoming trip.
Yeah.
We are, should we tell them where we're going? We are going to Mazatlan. It will be Maya's first time there. I went there a couple times when I was younger, like 10 years old for a family trip. And one time like 5 years ago. But I really liked it. So I'm excited. And oh my gosh, it's so much cheaper than Cancun. Like comparing the hotel prices for Mazatlan to Cancun, it's such a huge difference. And Mazatlan is still beautiful. Glenn and Michelle asks, what hotel did you guys stay at in Las Vegas? We were at Venetian. So they had this promo where we got 2 nights free. So yeah, it was like this 5-star hotel was the same price as 3-star hotels because of the promotion. By the way, if you guys weren't on earlier, this is Bimba. This is our new family member. She's about 11 months old. She's been going to puppy school, but she's not going to go back to puppy school tomorrow because we don't like how much progress she's been making. So we're going to try to find a new trainer here in Queretaro who will teach her everything she needs to know. Diva asks, how do you spell Mazatlan? I'll type it here in the chat. Mazatlan. And then how do I do the accent? There we go. Mazatlan. Roomhat asks, I'm going to assume this is dollars, is $1,500 enough to live in Guanajuato? It's been a while since I've been to Guanajuato, and I can't say that word. But what do you think? Is 30,000 pesos a month enough to live there?
Sí.
It's a pretty cheap city. It's much, much cheaper than Querétaro.
Definitely.
Estás hermosa, Mai.
Gracias.
She's saying she's beautiful. Amir with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much.
I know, it's a
Thanks for all you do. You guys are one of the reasons we shortlisted Querétaro almost a year ago. Moving there in 5 weeks. Can't wait. What do you think of the internet in Juriquilla? So I was living in Juriquilla before, and my internet was amazing. I was using the company Telmex. I had 500 megabits per second and never had an outage in 18 months. Whereas here where we live, it's with this other company, IENTC, and they're a piece of shit. The internet goes out. Like, we have fiber optic and we have good speeds when we actually have internet, but the internet goes out like once a week, and a lot of times it's out the entire day. So it's really frustrating, but I've seen a bunch of Telmex trucks in the area recently, so I think they're going to be ready to install here soon. Oh, and funny story. When we moved into this house like 6 months ago, we signed up for Telmex internet, but then they're like, oh yeah, we have fiber optic there. And then they never came. After like 2 weeks, we contacted them to try to figure out what was going on. And Mai, do you want to say what was going on with that? Like,
the what?
What was happening with the Telmex? Why they didn't install it after like 2 weeks?
Because here in the area where we live, it's kind of new and they don't have fiber optic lines available, but nobody told us. And I have a friend that actually works at Telmex. So I text her and I was like, can you help me and let me know what's going on? Because we don't know. And we made all the process 2 weeks ago and she told us that. And we were like, fine, amazing. So we said like, okay, you know what? We don't want the service because there's no fiber optic, which is what we want. They were like, okay, like, fine, we're going to cancel the process.
Well, then 6 months later, I get an email saying, your Telmex internet will be installed in a few days. And then they had Mai's phone number, so she gets a text message saying the same thing.
Like text messages saying.
Yeah, I've gotten a few emails now over the past
But we don't know
few
if
weeks.
we don't know if it's real or not anymore.
I've seen Telmex trucks out there, and as a matter of fact, you know that line they dug in the road? I looked in that, and it said fiber optic cables. So
I hope it's true.
I think that was them installing the fiber optic cables in this area. She's precious. Yeah, she is precious.
I bother him a lot. When he's trying to cock me or kiss me, I'm like, stay away from me, but just to bother him. Or sometimes he appears like when I'm like doing my makeup or whatever, and I'm like, you're scary. He's like, don't say that to me. I'm not scary. I know you're not scary, but I just want to bother you. That's my way of showing you love.
Here's a question for you.
Maya, are you drinking boba? I didn't know they had bubble tea in Queretaro. Yes, we have a lot of bubble tea stores. Yeah, I'm drinking bubble tea.
There's probably like, I don't know, 200 bubble tea stores.
Yeah,
they're all over the
obviously
place.
some of them are trash. And recently
been.
we had gongcha. We had become addicted to gongcha. This does. So I tried this new business there, which is at Juriquilla. And actually,
What's that called? Nomcha?
Nomcha.
Not the one we're addicted to. That's a different one.
But actually, it was a very high rating, and I love trying new places. So we went there, and actually, I'm reusing the cup because that day I ordered Thai tea, which was really, really good. If you like Thai tea, you should really try that one. And right now, I'm just drinking the nut milk. We had something here called nut milk, which is a substitute of milk.
Basically, it's a
basic of plants.
A non-dairy milk with plant-based ingredients, but it's not like leche or it's not coconut milk or almond milk. It's like a mixture of different stuff, and I prefer it over.
It's really good.
Girls, we're trying to do a live stream here.
And yeah, I'm getting it with chocolate and the boba, but there are a lot of places of boba here. Are really good.
Your doggy acts like a cat up on the back of the sofa. Yeah.
Yeah, she's coming. She's coming. Yes, they are. Here she is.
Is Telmex known to be good? Some people have terrible experience with Telmex, and I've had great experience with Telmex. So, what's your opinion on Telmex, Mai?
Telmex has become much better. Telmex was not as good as it is right now.
Okay.
Telmex, like when we first start having internet here in Mexico, which was
why are you biting my hair?
Which was like, I don't know, a long time ago. The first company we hired was Telmex, and it really sucked. But right now, I think it's one of the best internet services. I think it's the best internet service that we have here in Querétaro, because I've heard from my family, friends, patients, etc., about all the others, and all of them complain. And Telmex, it's the one that we have at my parents' house, and
she's scratching my head,
and it has never failed the way our company does. Stop being annoying. Yeah.
Does YouTube only allow you to send $9.99 super chats today, or thank you, Henry, another $9.99 super chat. I was born in San Francisco, California. My dad is from Puebla. My mom is from El Salvador. My grandfather, is that grandfather? No, a great grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
On my mother's side is Colombian. Have you tried comida salvadoreña? Have you tried El Salvador food?
No, but I would love to.
I haven't either. So, what places have we tried recently? We really love this Venezuelan place here in Querétaro.
Oh,
I don't know if I've heard of a El Salvadorian place for food here.
Mm-mm.
We saw that Uruguayan place the other day on Google
Colombian,
Maps.
Uruguayan, African, Greek.
All sorts of stuff. But yeah, I don't know if they have that.
We had Greek.
By
yesterday.
the way, Henry, what kind of stuff do they have in comida salvadoreña? What's the best way to establish credit in Mexico? Get a credit card with one of the stores, like one of the department stores, like a Liverpool or Palacio de Hierro. I signed up for a credit card with Palacio de Hierro, and I didn't get approved right away, but they basically we said we need more information, and now I have to email them some more information, like proof of income and stuff. So yeah, but I don't have any credit history here, so that's one way that you can start. So you get that, and then after a while, you could be able to get a car loan or a house loan, something like that, or a house loan, a mortgage. Do you ever take anti-parasite medication? Because a lot of Mexicans say they'll take it every 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, since you're a kid, there are a lot of campaigns, even at school, where they give kids that kind of medicine.
Okay.
And I hate it. I don't remember much more. So when you go to the gastroenterologist, most of the time they recommend it to you. And the only thing I know is that you can feel a little bit of stomach pain and sickness, but it's just temporary. That's all.
Where would you choose to live on $12,000 US a month? In Mexico, probably somewhere beachfront. Maybe like Puerto Vallarta beachfront. I mean, maybe somewhere in the Baja Peninsula, like a La Paz or something, but I haven't been there, so I can't say for sure, but it looks beautiful. But yeah, with that budget, you can pretty much afford anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Have you ever stayed at the Platinum Yucatan Princess? No, I'm not familiar with it. I actually don't even know where that's at. Where is that? Oh, right here. You already answered my question. By Cancun. Nope, have not. I haven't. The truth is, I haven't stayed at a lot of resorts. And I want to stay at more. What do you think, Maya? Would you like to see more resorts? What do you think of the Waldorf?
I love the Waldorf.
How about like
Most of the things, like 99.9 things about Waldorf.
yeah? How about Cancun in general?
I couldn't see much about Cancun. We were in Cancun just less than 24 hours. It's nice, but I couldn't see much more of Cancun.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved almost everything about the Waldorf too. It's a new hotel, so they're still working on some things, but yeah, it was nice. Carl asks, Jordan, I'm curious about whether you or Mai ever purchase items at OXXO. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's a convenient place to go because they're all over. Is she biting your feet?
No,
The blanket.
the blanket. No,
Now she's biting.
stop.
I think we need to give her a bone.
She's biting my foot. Stop. No, I'll do it. Bimba.
Someone says, hello from Canada. In my city, we have an El Salvadorian restaurant. Huh, cool.
Oh, Latin dancing nights. That's great.
Where do you see that?
It says Haven't been there in a while, but the food was great. Plus, they often
Have
have Latin dancing nights.
Okay.
Whew.
What's the story behind Laska's name? Well, it's not as interesting as Bimba's name, but basically, with Laska, I got her. At the time, like when we got her 13 years ago, I was living with my good friend and my girlfriend at the time, someone you don't know. But basically, we were trying to figure out a name, and we were doing some brainstorming, and I think someone said Alaska, and then someone else was like, I don't know if I like that, but what about Laska? And so then it ended up being Laska because we thought it was cute, and like she's a husky, and it's like Alaska, but not exactly. Someone asked, is it true that gold and silver jewelry is cheaper on Isla Mujeres, or is it just something they would tell tourists? That's just a line from a salesperson to try to sell jewelry. I mean, maybe like it's cheaper on Isla Mujeres than it is like at a resort in Cancun. Oh, I accidentally clicked something else. Amir, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. He says you can send us a smaller super chat, but you have to click through a message about if you seen inflation in the price of eggs recently. I'm sure you're joking, but that's kind of funny. Not prices going up, like that's not funny at all and really hard on a lot of people. Hey, stop ruining stuff. Do you mind if I go get her a bone quickly? So I'll go get her a bone, and maybe you can talk to people. Okay. So to scroll, you move, yes. You move your finger up here.
Yes.
Okay. Ema, you want to go?
Hi, thanks for the super chat. How's my foot now? Much better, definitely. Obviously, it's not it isn't something that it's going to disappear or being healed. Of course, I'm wearing my orthotics full time, but if I don't do it, and I don't know, I was used to walk without shoes at home. Now I can't do it anymore because if I do it, I could get inflamed. The same if I don't use my orthotics. Also, I've been at the gym like I've been going very frequently, so I discovered that doing some kind of impact of course gives me some pain. It's a temporary pain, like I go to sleep and the next day I'm perfectly fine, but I think it's something I'll have to deal my whole life, and doctors were pretty clear about it. If I don't use my orthotics, if I do things I can't do like much impact and things like that. Of course, sometime I might need the surgery, but of course I'm not planning to do that. Like to go through that point of not caring at all about my foot and getting inflamed. And
stop using orthotics. Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do in Cozumel? So the truth is I haven't spent much time there. I've only spent part of one day there. But had pretty awesome snorkeling. Oh, no, I got my favorite thing, sunsets. Seeing the sunsets over the water there is amazing. Hey, Trish, good to see you here.
No, I miss you.
So when we were in Cancun at Waldorf Astoria, we went into Puerto Morelos quite a few times because the food was a lot cheaper there, and we have friends there that we wanted to see. And Trish was one of those that we hung out with.
Yeah, she's great.
Javier with the $9.99 super chat. Maya, this is for you.
My, thanks for sharing your mental health journey. Stigma arises from a lack of understanding of mental health, ignorance, and misinformation. Yes, actually, that's why I'm very open about it. I mean, I don't think there's nothing bad about sharing mental health issues or whatever kind of disease. And it's been like one of my biggest battles. So I don't regret about any of the decisions I've made about it. Actually, I'm feeling way better than I was feeling in the last months of the past year. And obviously, if I can help more people to understand the importance of taking care of their health, like all of it, like physical, mental, emotional, I love doing that. I mean, helping moves me, and that's why I share a lot. And of course, yeah, it's something that it might be really scary because especially if you start taking some kind of medication, there's gonna be a lot of opinion about it, and don't take it, don't do it, and everything. So I still with the medication. I don't regret about doing it. I know that there's a lot of options, like more natural options or things like that. I literally tried all, and I was not feeling better. I was living with depression and anxiety for 10 years or more than 10 years. And of course, there's a point that you're not functional as you would like to. And obviously, I didn't want that to impact my life the way it is right now, because it was the only thing that it was stopping me from doing what I wanted to. So that's why I had to take the only option I hadn't took about that.
Thank you for the 1999 super sticker. How do you say that last name?
Papi Muñeño.
Muñeño?
I think it's muñeco. Bueno, muñeño. No sé.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. What's y'all's favorite meal?
Ooh,
I don't know. I don't know. There's so many things. Well, so a lot of times if I'm going to a restaurant and it's like one of those restaurants that has a lot of stuff, I'll order some kind of pasta. I really love pasta, but I also really love seafood, but I also really love burgers and Korean
have
food.
all kind of
And
food.
I have Mexican food. I don't know. I can't choose. Will anywhere in Huatulco be a future vacation for you? I would like to go. I haven't been.
I've been to. It's really
You
nice.
have? Okay. Henry with the 99 super chat. Most popular dish in El Salvador is pupusa, which are
Sí, las he
thick
escuchado.
rice or corn flour tortillas stuffed with an edible flour, cheese, refried beans, chicharron, or zucchini squash. Huh.
Oh, suena rico.
Yeah, I would have that.
Sí he escuchado de las pupusas, pero no sabía que eran de El Salvador.
I have not heard of them. At least I don't remember hearing of them. Laura asks, what do you guys think about the latest U.S. travel warnings to Mexico overblown, justified, ploy to steal tourism away? I heard about travel warnings to Sinaloa, and I think those were justified. Basically, they caught some big cartel member, like El Chapo's son or something, and then there was lots of buses being blown, cars and buses being blown up, and all sorts of stuff going on there. Like there was even there was like shooting at one of the airports, like people in a plane that was getting hit by bullets. So they shut all the airports down in that area. I think it was only for like a day, but yeah, I think that was justified. It seems to have settled down now, though. Edward, thank you so much for being a channel member. Really appreciate that. By the way, if you guys don't know, that little symbol next to his name indicates that he's a channel member. Hi, Maya and Jordan. I just caught up on the chats. Bimba is very frisky today. I heard Laska in the background when Bimba bothered her. Now Bimba's biting my. Get her a bone, Jordan. Yeah. Bimba's
No,
chewing
he
her
has a
bone
bone.
right over here. Maybe I can rotate.
She's crazy. She's great.
Have you ever used olive oil to grow your eyelashes?
Yes, I did. I've been doing it for like 8 months or something like that.
But not olive oil.
It's not, no, olive oil, no. I was using a serum, but now I don't think I'm going to use it anymore because I'm not seeing any more changes. So I don't think it's worth buying it.
I don't think they can get any longer than they already are.
I don't think they're super long, but
They're so long.
I'm not bothering him like I do this and I start
Yeah,
like,
she'll have
blinking
her.
my eyes.
She'll have her face next to my. She'll have her face next to mine, blinking her eyes, like tickling me with her eyelashes.
Butterfly kisses. That's why we should go here.
Here's a question for you.
Mike, have you decided what types of videos you will be doing on your own on Instagram? I think a little bit of everything. I think the difference is that it's my personal profile, so I can do whatever I want. I love, of course, sharing about my mental health journey. I love sharing food recipes, the places we go to, about my daily normal life. I don't know, a little bit of everything. Actually, I was asking people what will they like me to share, and I was really surprised because I got a lot of answers, and basically all of them wanted me to share just my normal life, and if we're traveling, my point of view being a Mexican in our trips, and I would love that. I would love to share my perspective about life here in Mexico, my perspective about being to some places that I haven't been to, because honestly, even though I'm from Mexico, I haven't been. I think he knows Mexico better than me, so I haven't been to so many places. So I would love to discover that part and food and places and people and share it with you, of course.
Brandon asks, if you ate out for every meal, how much is your monthly food budget? Okay, I'm gonna have to do some calculations here. I'll do one in my head of like, if you're eating out like cheap meals, 3 times a day. And then one is if you're going to like maybe your average sit down restaurant where it's full service. Okay, so cheap meals. If you were like searching out the cocina economicas, the fondas, like tacos, maybe you're looking at 60 pesos for breakfast, 70 pesos for lunch, 80 pesos for dinner. Like the cheapest, like this talking the cheapest, at least in a more expensive city like Queretaro. So 210, that's like $11 a day times 30, $330. So that's the very low end, eating the cheapest you can everywhere, but eating out. Now, like your average sit down place with full service here, not going fancy, but like just typical. I mean, it'll still be nice, but maybe you're looking at one, and I'm doing this calculation without thinking drinks, like not buying any drinks of any kind. So for breakfast, maybe like 120, lunch, like 150, dinner 200. So what is that? 470. Call it $25 a day. $25 a day times 30 is, oh my gosh, I can't do math. $750, I think. But my brain isn't working very well. Now, I mean, it could get up a lot higher than that if you're going to fancy places. Because, I mean, you can you can eat at steakhouses and Michelin star restaurants and things like that. But hopefully that gives you an idea. What do you think?
I think you're right.
Okay. Someone wants to know your Instagram.
What's my Instagram? I never remember.
You make it so complicated.
I was trying to change it, and not any of the names I wanted to are available. So
Okay, so it might change. But right now, ftmy.palres.
I wanted to change it because I can't remember it either. But I couldn't. So if you have any suggestions of my new Instagram name, let me know.
I'll give you mine while I'm at it too.
Because I really want to make it easier for everybody, but my brain is not super good for that.
D's Creation, thanks for the super chat. Have you been to San Juan del Rio, Queretaro? Make a video there.
Just to meet Bimba.
So we were actually just saying this earlier in the stream that when we went to meet Bimba, our new dog, she was there in San Juan del Rio. It's a city about an hour away from Querétaro. I've brought up the idea of making a video there. Mai says there's not a lot to see or do, so maybe
We can do it, but
I mean, it's still there's a decent population there. I think we could find some things to do. But I don't know what they would be.
we can go and just discover it.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Carl says, Jordan, a year ago, the value of the American dollar was more than 20 pesos, but today it's valued at a little over 18 per dollar. Neither you or Mai have any idea why. So I have an idea why. But before I say that, I will say that when it comes to talking about why exchange rates fluctuations happen, there's a million things that go into it, and no single person on earth could fully understand everything. But I do think a couple of the major reasons are that number one is people are questioning the Federal Reserve, the central bank in the US, their ability to continue raising interest rates and continuing to fight inflation. And as people are questioning their ability to do that, as that increases, that will bring the value of the dollar down. And secondly, the Mexican central bank, the Banco de Mexico, has been perhaps one of the most aggressive central banks in the world in terms of raising interest rates. They've been raising interest rates very quickly. They started earlier and they've been going faster than most other central banks. And when you raise interest rates more, the relative value of your currency to other currencies increases. So it's actually more so a strong peso than a weak dollar in this case so far, because in the last year, the dollar hasn't lost much to other major currencies, whereas it has with the peso. So that gives you a little bit of an idea, but again, there's a million things that go into it, and I couldn't possibly begin to understand everything, even though I actually study this kind of thing a lot. Babies, bro, don't ignore me. Babies. We just got a new baby. She has cute face, 4 paws, wagging tail. Monterrey Blue Man says, I'm just checking in to say hi to you guys. I'm Randy and I'm in Mission, Texas, married to my Mexican wife for 30 years, down here for retirement, and my wife has quite a large family in Monterrey. Well, thanks for checking in. Really appreciate that. Been getting a lot of messages lately saying like, where are you? Why haven't you posted videos in 2 months? Well, have been posting videos. It's just that YouTube isn't showing them to a lot of people right now. So you have to go click on the channel and click on the recent videos. Did you want me to click on one?
Do you want to answer this one?
Okay. Here, talking quick.
Yeah. So, hi Patricia. My Instagram account is set to private, so can't see anything. Yeah, it's set to private. I made it public a while ago, but unfortunately, there was a person that you might have seen that was using my photos for a very with very bad intentions. So I changed it to private. So in this case, you have to send me a follow and I'll accept it immediately. There's no big deal, no problem. So if you wanna follow me, I appreciate and I accept your invitation.
Angel or Angel, depending on how you pronounce it. When are you coming to Vegas again? Drinks on me. Okay, so I did something. I got this promo email from Hilton, and I've been really trying to accrue Hilton points over the past little while because if you saw the recent videos, we went and stayed at the Waldorf with points, the Waldorf Astoria in Cancun, and it was amazing. And I want to have another vacation like that. And so far, I'm more than halfway there to the number of points needed. So I need like 380,000 and I'm at 209,000 right now. Well, Hilton sent me this email and they're like, hey, if you come to Vegas and you do a timeshare presentation, if you attend a timeshare presentation, you can get 3 nights for $150, no resort fees, $150 total. So I'm like, okay, this actually might be good because normally when I go to Vegas, there's some nights there that are really expensive, especially weekends. Weekends can get expensive. So I'm like, okay, I could use these 3 nights on the weekend. And then they're like, if you attend a timeshare presentation while you're here, you get 50,000 bonus Hilton points. And then basically you pay the $150 and then you have a year to travel. Well, I didn't book the dates right away. Instead, I just waited because I didn't know when we were going to go to Vegas again. But then they sent me another email recently saying, okay, schedule it before the end of February and we'll throw in another 20,000 Hilton points. So that's 70,000 Hilton points. I'm like, okay, so I have to book it before the end of February and I have to travel before the end of April. So probably before the end of April because I want those Hilton points. And then that puts me at like 280,000. Yeah, we'll be able to stay at the Waldorf again very soon. But I know, what am I getting myself into with a timeshare presentation? I've never been to one. I know it's going to be a high pressure sales situation, but I know I'm able to leave after like a couple of hours. Retribution says, is Queretaro equivalent in pricing to Merida? I'm looking at properties in December. Wife is Mexican citizen. I'm a gringo. It's going to be a challenge to navigate the process. Queretaro is more expensive. Merida is cheaper, especially when it comes to properties. Like in Merida, you get way more for your money than in Queretaro. At least in my experience looking at properties. And then in terms of like other things in the city, Querétaro is a little bit more expensive in my experience. Do you have any insight into that?
Not really.
Okay. Here's a comment for you.
Yeah, I read it. Thanks, Jeff.
What's
He
it saying
says
in English?
he's so sorry to listen that someone was using of my Instagram, that there's a lot of people that it's not mentally okay, but there's also very good people. And yeah, actually, I appreciate. Right now, I'm learning to go over those kind of people in a much better way than I was doing in the past. And I don't know, of course, there are some things that might be rude or things like that, but it's nothing that I take personal as I was doing in the past. And there's always that positive part of me, like being much stronger, like all that people, because I've met very, very nice people through all this journey. So that's the thing that what keeps me wanting to share things and be here, because I think it's worth it. I mean, meet people and hurtful situations are gonna be everywhere and all the time, but I also think that those kind of situation and those kind of people are the ones who make you like uh, appreciate more the good ones or the good things. So I'm also some kind of thankful with those people. And also, I think that they easily show up. I mean, they send me very rude messages or things like that, and it's so easy to block them. Because if they don't even send me a message or say bad things to me, I wouldn't even notice. So keep sending bad rude messages. It's easy to block. I mean,
Manuel says most people that get timeshares are sorry they got it. Yeah, and like before going to the timeshare presentation, I'm going to like go on like timeshare retail or resale sites to see how much they like sell for in the resale market, and that's an easy way to say no during these. Like, no, why would I buy for you for 20,000 when I can buy it for 4,000 on this website over here? Sean asked, have you thought about trying the Waldorf in Cabo? Oh, I want to stay there so badly.
but it's almost impossible.
Well, okay, so that's actually where we were trying to go instead of the Waldorf in Cancun. Because if you don't know, the Waldorf in Cabo is incredible. And it's like one of the most in demand Hilton hotels for point redemptions and free night redemptions on earth. Like you have Conrad Maldives, Waldorf Cabo, like those are the places where people really want to go. But when you're using points or using these free night rewards, you have to find rooms that have a standard night reward available, or a hotel that has a standard night available for that night in order to use them. Because like, for example, at the Waldorf in Cabo, if there's the standard night available, it's 110,000 points, I think. Maybe it's 120,000, whatever it is. It's a little over 100,000 points per night. But if there's not a standard room available, it's probably going to be 500,000 points or 1,000,000 points. Like it's insane if there's not a standard room. And if there's not a standard room, you also cannot use a free night reward. Well, when it comes to booking with points with Hilton and with Marriott, you always want to book for 5 nights because you get the 5th night free. So you only have to pay for 4 nights with points. And the Waldorf in Cabo, it's very, very difficult to find 5 nights in a row that have that standard room option available. So that's what I was trying to do. I got 4 nights in a row, but I was never able to get 5. So then we switched it up and went to Cancun instead and stayed at that new resort there. Trish says Merida has gotten really expensive. Okay. I mean, it's been a little while since I've been there. But I mean, I went to Merida, and then not long after that, I was in Queretaro. So I have a like experience going to those 2 places pretty close to each other. And Merida was significant, or not significantly cheaper, but Merida was noticeably cheaper. But like talking about how it's gotten really expensive, prices have gone up a lot here, like across the country. So it's, in fact, it's making it hard for a lot of people to live, man. Inflation is hitting people hard here. Grateful Expat says, Hola from Polanco. So that's Mexico City. Went to Vegas earlier this month. I've never wanted to visit there. I did it for my wife. I'm glad I went. Glad I went. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not for everybody, but I think people can have a good time there, even if they think that like Vegas might not be for them. Like, Mai doesn't like being around a lot of people.
I don't like drinking alcohol. I don't like gambling. I don't like so many things.
But-
I got COVID, but I can say it was very nice.
But we saw Mystere, so we went to a show while we were there. You like that a lot. You love the Bellagio Conservatory, the flowers there,
Yeah.
flower display.
Yeah, I mean, it has, even though you might be a pretty like calm people, like person, like I consider I am, you can have a good time. There's something for everyone, and that's something that I really like about Vegas. So obviously that's why I was telling him I cannot have like a very objective like opinion about it because I was in my room 5 days of the 7 we
Yeah.
were there.
And you're not going to have fun, like just being in the
And-
room sick.
and the other 2 I went out. I was not feeling 100% okay. Actually, I still with COVID late symptoms for almost 2 months. So obviously I was not feeling okay, but I really love, as he said, I love flowers. I love all that stuff. I was mesmerized by everything, like the flowers. The hotels were like really fancy. I saw a lot of stuff that I've never seen in my life. I had a really good food there, and also like a lot of things that makeup stuff that I was looking here in Mexico that I couldn't find. Like for a while ago, I could find it there finally, super super cheap. So I was like, oh, I really want to go back here because I could get so many good things like skincare things and makeup and things like that, like at prices I definitely could never ever find here. So
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I should go back, but healthy.
JD says, have y'all been to any hot springs in Mexico that y'all recommend? I've been to La Gruta and San Miguel, but I want to see better ones. Yes, go to Grutas de Tolantongo in the state of Hidalgo. It's incredible. I'm going to type it in the chat here so you know the spelling.
Tola, ¿no? Pusiste tolo. Tola.
I think this is right. Tolantongo.
Sí. Es que no veo. Yeah.
Okay, so this place, Grutas de Tolantongo, you go down, you drive down this road, this windy road into this like cavern, but they have these hot springs on the side of cliffs that overlook the mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous. But in addition to that, they have this blue ass river that like you can go relax in, and it's also hot like the hot springs are. And then they have inside of caves where they have this, I think this is actually like the real grutas. They have like these caves with the hot water in there. Super cool. There's those 3 really awesome experiences there. Would you like to give an update on your foot?
Ma, any update on your foot? How you're feeling with it? Much better, definitely. I was having a lot of pain. I was reading some kind of bad comment saying that, oh, she got healed magically, and this is not magic, people. So, unfortunately, when it's something anatomic, like my problem is functional and it's like something that is established. So, my joint is not in the right position. And that's no way to make it heal magically, as some people say, you know. But in this case, I have to do one thing first, and I cannot get rid of it. And it's just using my orthotics or the right orthotics for a lifetime. I cannot get out of them, and I've been doing that. Dr. Bang made my orthotics, and I felt great with that, like with them. Of course, I cannot live without them. Also, he recommended me to wear a very specific kind of shoes that honestly I fell in love with. I've been wearing them since October, and I feel my foot like much more stable. I've been working out a lot, and not only my full body but also my foot, and I perfectly know that I still can feel something sometimes. I can say a little bit of pain. uh, of course it's not the amount of pain I used to have in the past that uh, made me go like to see it or got me in a huge cry because of the amount of it. It's very different. It's like something that I know it's there, it exists, it's gonna be there forever. But if I keep using my orthotics, everything is gonna be okay. And I could definitely need a surgery if I don't do what the doctors had told me. So this is a degenerative or yeah, some kind of a process that never stops. So I just have to like be responsible enough, wear my orthotics, don't gain weight, exercise often, and basically that's all. So I'd be able to have a normal life. Yeah, and but it's there, the problem is there.
And by the way, the doctor who fixed her, I've just put a link to him in the chat. And we're going to tell this story. And we've been meaning to put out this video for a while, but we're going to release this video in a couple of weeks, basically telling the story of everything that happened. But basically, her surgery was scheduled for November 5th, I think it was.
Mhm.
And this doctor, this podiatrist, he was coming to San Miguel, which is like an hour away from here. And he follows the channel and he's like, please, can I see you before you have the surgery? Like we're coming to San Miguel. I would really like to see you because I might be able to fix you. And I want to make sure that you absolutely need that surgery because you do not want to have that surgery if it's not 100% needed. So basically we met up with him in San Miguel. Then after meeting him, he's like, I think I can fix you. Like, I think I can fix this without surgery, but I need you to come to California. I need you to come to my office in Costa Mesa. It's like in the LA area. So basically we planned a trip to California. What month did we go there?
In October.
In October.
But everything went so fast. I mean,
Yeah,
I knew
it
I had this injury. I started with this injury like 4 years ago, but it bothered me sometime in a while, or when I made impact or whatever. But after we started traveling more and recording videos, and we were walking like for hours, and that's when my foot starting to hurt like a lot. I couldn't even stand it. There was some days that I was literally sitting the whole day because I just couldn't
like pain
deal with
10
that.
out of 10.
Like pain 10 out of 10. I couldn't even walk. Once I arrived when we weren't living together, I arrived to the house with crutches because I actually felt that I couldn't do it. So I went to the doctor here, and of course they made all the image studies, and the MRI I got here showed that I had a ligament broken and a tendon broken. And I was like, well, if my doctor said if something's broken,
But it was a
then
bad MRI, right?
it was a really bad MRI, but at that time we didn't knew that. That's what we had. So I went to like 2 or 3 doctors, and they told me exactly the same. They were like, okay, if you're having a lot of pain, if you're not able to make like your normal stuff, if you have to wear crutches and be glimpsing all the time, well, there's nothing else to do, because I've tried with exercises, I tried with physical therapy, and nothing was helping me. So that's why we scheduled the MRI, the surgery, and that's why we went like at least me, I was like, even though I have my medical insurance, I cannot pay for this orthopedic surgery because the price was super high.
Even
Because
after insurance,
it,
it was
it, it was it was
pretty pricey.
very, very pricey, and that's what we had. So that's why we started to figure out how to do it, how to deal with the problem, because there was no way that my parents or myself could afford it. So we started with the GoFundMe thing. And
No, I started with that. You didn't want me to do it, but
I didn't want to. He started with because that was the only thing that we like thought it could help me to pay the surgery. And after we started with all that process of the GoFundMe and like scheduling the surgery and all that stuff, that's when the doctor, Daniel Bank, contacted us. So anyway, he was like, let's just try with the orthotics and the new shoes for 3 months. And if in 3 months, which is October, November, December, okay, January, you're not feeling without pain, there's nothing else to do for you. So you're going to have the surgery.
But we went to California and like we went and saw him at his office, got a new MRI done there. And yeah, basically he made my orthotics like a kind that she has never used before, like a really high quality kind. But yeah, anyway, if you're having foot problems, like go check him out. I put the link in the chat. But anyway, we'll have a full video on that coming up of like the whole story.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm feeling better. The injury is there. It's gonna be there forever. In conclusion, so I just have to wear my orthotics, be responsible, and I think I could have a normal life. And if I don't do it, I'm screwed, and I'll have a surgery. But I don't want to.
Okay, let me try to get caught up here. Laura with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Any hotel or rental recommendations for Queretaro for a family of 4? Where would you stay if you were visiting? We would be scoping out the city, trying to convince my husband it's a good place to move. So like for most people coming to visit the city, I would recommend finding a hotel in Centro, like in Zona Centro, like the historic center of the city, because that's very walkable. It's generally the place people start to look from or like start to explore when they come here. But even if you're like trying to convince your husband it's a good place to move, I'd probably still start in Central. It probably won't be where you end up living because there's a lot of nice neighborhoods around the city, and there's quite a few reasons why I wouldn't want to live in Central. But it's a nice place to start to start exploring the city. And as for a specific recommendation, I don't have experience staying in hotels here, but I would maybe start with the top rated ones on TripAdvisor or Google. So this is still people talking about timeshares, so I think we're way behind on comments. Sorry. Trish says, I don't know the percentage of people that don't like their timeshares, but I have a lot of friends that have them and they love it. We also get invited many times to enjoy it with them. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely people out there who get a lot of value out of their timeshares and they use it every single year and really appreciate having it. So there are some good ones out there. Gary with the 129 peso super chat. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Or super sticker, sorry. And Jeff with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Sigue haciendo lo que estás haciendo. Keep doing what you're doing. James with the $5 super chat. Mexico is projected to be the 5th wealthiest country by 2050. Thoughts? I mean, how do you project that? I'm curious to know where that comes from. I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts on it. You?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't know. I have my doubts.
Tyshawn, thanks for the $2 super chat. Hi, Jordan and Maya. I'm happy to see you both. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate that. Kathy.
Hi, Mike. Good to see you back. I understand about your feet. I can walk without New Balance.
1540 V tennis
V
shoes.
tennis shoes and orthotics. I've got bone on bone. It's very painful to walk. Try those shoes. Oh, thank you. I'll take a look.
And the shoes you're wearing, they're Asics,
Asics Gel Kianos.
Gel Cayano, like, are they the
28 and 29.
Oh, I'll put that in the chat for anyone who
I
is
love them too.
Asic. Is that how you spell Asic? Or is it, I forget.
No, it's double S, I think.
That doesn't look right.
No, solo una S.
ASICS. Okay. So these were the ones recommended by a podiatrist, either the Gel Cayano 28s or the 29s. At least those were the ones recommended for mine.
I love them.
What are the negatives of living in Centro Histórico, in your opinion? So yeah, I mentioned, like, for a lot of reasons I probably wouldn't want to live there. So let me just start with the positives. It's very centrally located. Perhaps the best restaurant scene in the city is in Centro there. You can walk to a lot of places. Great for that. Negatives: parking's impossible. It's very noisy. There's lots of celebrations and stuff happening, and loud buses going by and honking and fireworks. Yeah.
Sometimes with very specific, like even like Catholic celebrations or whatever, they close the streets, and it's impossible to arrive to Centro unless it's walking or taking Uber.
Yeah.
That takes you out of the Centro area, and you walk and you enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be a nightmare on the weekend, like to go by car.
Traffic is often horrendous. Like, we're talking 40 minutes to go 1 mile. Like that bad. When you're getting a house there, a lot of times there's not much natural light in there. The houses in Centro don't really have yards. So if you have a pet, that was something I was considering with Alaska. Also, the homes there are older, so you typically can't flush your toilet paper. You have to throw it in the trash can. Whereas almost everywhere else in the city, you can flush your toilet paper. I'm sure there's some other reasons, but that's some of them to start.
And also, yeah, exactly. Like in Centro, there are a lot of churches and cathedrals and things like that. So they are like, ringing the bells all the time, especially on Sundays. And a lot of people don't like that. So there are some things to consider about it. So Centro is very nice, but I think just to visit. And we might go to Centro like maybe twice per month or something like that. It's not something that we visit very often.
It's usually to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, but the decorations, for example, Christmas or things like that are extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, government is investing a lot of money on decoration and doing Centro very pretty. So it's a very nice place to visit. But
yeah,
to stay there, I don't know.
Yeah, I like visiting. No, don't get me wrong. I think Centro is gorgeous, and I love it. I just don't want to live there.
Yeah.
Oh, and something else also about living there is it's expensive, and you get a lot more house for your money living elsewhere in the city.
There are many neighborhoods that you can arrive to Centro walking.
Yeah.
And are way cheaper, and without all those problems that we found at Centro.
Yeah. For example, like there's Jardines, there's Jardines.
Jardines de Queretaro.
There's Queretas. Alamos, yeah. So there's various neighborhoods that are near Centro that are with walking distance that I would consider living in. But yeah. I'm gonna mess up the name, the pronunciation, Malaya. Jordan, when you renew your temporary residency, do you have to show all of your documents and income again? No, you don't. You don't have to prove income again. In some cases, they've asked for bank statements, but they don't deny people for like having insufficient income when they're renewing the residency. Edgar asks, how do you feel in terms of safety? Mai, want to take this?
It's because my point of view is gonna be super different about you. Why? Being a woman without a car, I don't feel safe at all. I mean, I have some kind of non-major incidents here in Queretaro that, of course, I don't want anyone else to live. And even though Querétaro it's a pretty safe city, I'm being with you or being with my parents or with friends, or I haven't had any kind of incident like safety incident, for example. I definitely don't feel safe, like walking alone in the streets, especially at night and things like that.
Would you feel comfortable telling them about the time you were in an Uber where you thought it was a kidnapping situation?
Yeah, once I was studying and I finished my classes. It was around noon, and I was going to meet my mom at a mall. So I basically had to go from Juriquilla to Centro. So I took an Uber, and I've noticed that this guy. Normally, Ubers have the phone like in front of them, checking the route or whatever. And in that case, I've noticed that the guy took out the phone in front of him and he put it like
on his lap,
on his and he was looking at me all the time by the mirror. And he started like, instead of going, because I perfectly knew the road he was going to take, it was all straight basically. So I started noticing that he went through the lateral road, which is not normal because most of the time it's full of red lights.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is very, very weird.
And it was also
course,
weird that he kept looking at you and then he was like texting someone or something.
So I called my mother and I said, like, you know what, Mom, I already sent you the information of the Uber I just took. I'm on my way to my place. Of course, I didn't want it to say that I was not feeling safe because it could put me in a very, very dangerous situation. And I've noticed that when I was talking to my mom, this guy started looking very, very nervous. So, of course, at that moment, I knew that something wrong was going on. And I couldn't believe it because at that time, I didn't know what to do. We were in the middle of the road. It was like, as I told you, in the middle of the day, like noon, all daylight. And I just told him, like, you know what, I'm gonna stop the ride right now. And he didn't answer to me. He kept looking to me to the mirror and keep going on. And I was like, for real, I just stopped the ride in my app, so I want you to stop. So he basically stopped in a bus stop. It was less than the half of my way. And when I was opened the door and I was just trying to get out of the car, he
sped off.
Sped off
before you were basically even out of the car.
I couldn't even like left out of the car. I just put one of my foot out and he sped off, and I had to like jump. And I was super scared. And at that moment, I called my mother and I was like, you know what, this has happened. I'm here. I'm safe, but I don't want anybody to go through all this. And she went and picked me up, and that's all. But it was one of the most scariest days of my life because I thought Uber was safe, and of course it wasn't safe. So,
but yeah, like his behavior there. So like,
it was really weird.
If you're ever in an Uber, if you notice weird behavior, like pay attention to that. So he's taking a different route. He takes his phone where she can no longer see it. He keeps looking at her in the mirror. he's texting somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of red flags there, and then you're talking to your mom, and he gets even more weird.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, about that, in conclusion, I think if you're like, unfortunately, women are like more in danger about safety than men. That's a big truth here. And obviously it depends in which state you are, but that's a fact everywhere here in Mexico. Obviously, if you're a male or you are a woman, like are accompanied by somebody else, you have to take like those security measures we've talked about, like not traveling during the night, especially on road, taking toll roads. I mean, not being alone. There are some kind of neighborhoods that are dangerous. Don't go through those neighborhoods. And if you take Uber, share your location and things like that. Being together, being on the road, we haven't had any security issues. I haven't had any other security issues being with my family or being with my friends. But being alone, I have thousands of scary moments. So that's unfortunately what's happening.
Malia, thanks for the pronunciation of your name. I appreciate that. I don't think I have to worry about being a fat old man and getting kidnapped. Maybe not much. If they think you're a rich fat old man, then maybe. I'm laughing. I shouldn't laugh. Jane says, thanks for sharing my important to let women know safety over being polite. Cindy asked, you plan on pursuing your Mexican citizenship? Yeah, I would get it if I can. It's like if you marry a Mexican, for example, you don't just get citizenship or anything like that. Basically, that only makes it slightly easier to get on the path towards citizenship, but not really. I saw someone else asking about marriage and citizenship, so that's why I mentioned that. Edgar says, sorry to hear that. I'm glad you could manage to escape and are fine. How long ago was that?
Like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Andres says, unfortunately, a young girl died from jumping out of a running Uber car because she was being kidnapped. Jeez.
Yeah. And they don't stop. So in that case, I think that guy felt a lot of pressure because he heard that I sent all his data to my mother. So that's why he left me go out. But otherwise, I don't know what could have happened.
That's a good argument for you to have pepper spray on you, like with your keys. So like if he doesn't stop you, make sure your seatbelt's buckled. You spray pepper spray towards him. That'll force him to either stop or crash. And then
yeah, of course. But yeah, at that moment, it's like you always let that kind of people that you made something about it, like not say like as I said, like I think I'm in danger, because that could really put you in the real danger. But like, ma, this is happening, I send you the information, and most of the time, or at least in my case, it stopped that guy of hurting me. But yeah, of course, I need more security things.
By the way, are you getting hungry?
No.
You're gonna want dinner after a while. Do you want to look at Uber Eats?
Okay. He always says that I'm hungry, but that's not true.
You can never go without dinner for a night. It'll be like 10 p.m. and you'll be like, what are we having for dinner? Here, you can look on Uber Eats and I'll continue with the stream.
Yesterday, I went out without dinner.
Fat Buddha says, I heard pepper spray is illegal in Mexico. I think you heard wrong. I don't think there's anything illegal about.
I mean,
Oh, really?
it's not something that you're gonna find easily. Normally, there are nowadays some groups, for example, on Facebook, of females that sell you as a female a pepper spray. But yeah, I mean, it's not easy to find.
I think you can buy it on Mercado Libre.
Of course, yeah, but it's not something that you're gonna find in the store,
Yeah,
like publicly.
I've looked for it in stores and it's hard to find. So maybe like stores need special permission or something to sell it.
¿Tú quieres algo así, no?
Oh, yeah, but why don't you find something and I'll pick something from that store.
Okay.
Jonathan asks, how good was your Spanish prior to staying in Mexico? I studied in high school, some college. Can really only speak as effectively in present tense. Think I could still get around all right. I mean, if you can do present tense, that's great. That's way more than most foreigners ever actually learn. So yeah, I mean, it's not as good as knowing all the tenses, of course, but that'll still do good things for you. So I took Spanish for 4 years in high school, but at that time I was like, I'm never going to need to know Spanish. So like, I didn't try at all. I didn't care. So I didn't learn anything. Basically, all I learned were grammar rules and how to pronounce, or all I remembered were grammar rules and how to pronounce the letters and how to pronounce words. So like pronounce words by reading them, right? I took some online courses before coming to Mexico. So I knew some stuff, but it wasn't great. Like I could understand some stuff if people were speaking slowly and enunciating a lot, but in reality, people don't do that. They speak quickly. Some people enunciate, others don't. So yeah, like what I knew didn't translate much to being able to get me through conversations here because I had to pick up on accents and different ways they change the words, different pronunciations and enunciation, things like that. There's a store in the Plaza Las Americas in Playa del Carmen that sells pepper spray and tasers. Are tasers legal? I believe tasers are legal, but not the kind that shoots. Like the handheld kind that's just like right, the electric volts are at the top of it. Malia says, get rocket languages. It's great. Shameless plug. Yeah. No, I really love rocket languages. It's really good. And if you don't mind my shameless plug, I'm an affiliate. And if you're interested in checking it out, you can go to tangerinespanish.com and that will take you there. Edgar says, are you still being tried to get scammed, overcharged by business owners in Mexico? Honestly, it doesn't happen much. In fact, it's pretty darn rare. Like going to Cancun, yeah, there's a lot of people trying to screw you over there. But in most of the country, it doesn't really happen. Mauricio says, I'm an electronic-driven engineer. Do you feel like it's hard to get the latest technologies in Mexico? For example, getting technical support for products and services in technology. So first of all, getting the latest technologies. No, I don't think that's hard, but you're going to have to, like, if you buy them and have them shipped here, you're going to have to pay an import duty of like 16% of the item's cost. So there's that. So it makes it a bit more expensive. And then getting technical support, don't really have experience with that. Like, for example, I needed technical support for my Linksys wireless mesh system a couple of weeks ago. And I just, even though I bought it here in Mexico and they have support, technical support in Mexico, I just called the support line for the US. And they were a little bit confused because they're like, oh, this isn't one normally deal with. So it's like, where did you buy this? And I was like, Mexico, but still able to help me. Are you finding anything?
Pizza de pastor.
Pizza de pastor.
Pizza de cochinita pibil. So that sounds good to you?
Grateful Expat says, I said earlier, I got both Rocket Languages and Surfshark through you. Thanks. And thank you. I really appreciate you using the links. It helps out a ton. And I think those are both very valuable services as well. So I hope you're getting good use out of them. Is that what you want?
¿Tú quieres eso también?
One moment. Okay. Ivan or Ivan says, can you use your Canadian or Mexican Costco card in Mexico, or do you need to buy a Mexican membership? Yes, you can. You can use any Costco card at any Costco in the world. However, if like you're coming to live in Mexico and let's say your Canadian membership is expiring, you might want to let it expire and buy one in Mexico because your membership is going to be a lot cheaper here. It's about 25 US dollars. Well, it's 500 pesos right now. So maybe that's 33, 34 Canadian for the basic membership here. And you can use that anywhere. Will you take over while I order this?
I hope I don't kill it.
I hope so too. Just the pizza?
No sé, I just saw that one because I put in the carrito one with cochinita, but this is that one is really hard rated, so I honestly don't know.
The name of this restaurant is Killer Pizza. So hopefully killer as in sense that it's really good, not as in it will kill us.
How efficient is Amazon in Mexico? It's pretty efficient. I mean, if you're like most of the products, you can get them in less than 48
hours.
24 hours. Most of the products you can get them in less than 24 hours, unless it's something that there's not like available or there's something that it comes from the US. It can arrive in less than a week.
Yeah. So, for example, the selection of things in Mexican fulfillment centers is a lot smaller than Amazon.com. So a lot of the items are going to be imported, and in that case, it might take a week to get it. But yeah, the items that are here are like arrive very quickly. Okay. We'll get a pizza de pastor and a pepperoni. Sound good?
You're always you're a pepperoni fan.
And
I always go for pizza de pastor because the pastor wins.
Okay, dinner is ordered.
Woohoo! Oh, my legs are killing me, Timothy. Because it's a game.
Dan asks, why don't you host a meetup for expats? I think it would be a great idea, and you can ask for a fee. It would be fun if you hosted. Yeah, that'd be cool. Adventurous Travels says, do you have any advice for starting a YouTube channel? Yeah.
It's coming.
The wild animals coming. Ever since we gave Bimba that bone, she's just been going at that over here.
She's obsessed chewing things.
So Those are the bully sticks, which the dogs love. But sorry, advice for starting a YouTube channel. Yeah, don't try to be perfect to start. Just put a video out there. Don't go buying fancy video equipment to start. You can even start recording on your phone. Like most people's phone, like if you have a phone that's been made in the past couple of years, that's probably going to be a pretty good place to start. So like buying fancy equipment is just going to like complicate your life and make the learning curve that much harder. So use basic equipment like a phone or a GoPro or something that's super easy that you can just click record and go. And then like try to make the best video you can, but don't worry about it being perfect. Your videos to start are gonna suck. Everybody's do. Everybody thinks they're making good videos at the time, but then they look back later and they're like, oh, okay, these sucked. But yeah, just start and try to improve a little bit with each one. Follow the YouTube channels that help creators. Like, for example, Nick Nimmin is one of them. That's good. Channel creators or something. Anyway, just search like how to grow a YouTube channel and you'll find these channels. They have lots of good advice for you. Pizza de Pastor for the win? Yes, thanks. You're getting your pizza de Pastor. A lot of times she'll want to order just like a cheese pizza and then go get Pastor at a taco place to put on.
That's the best thing you can do. Order a 4 cheese pizza, like Costco 4 cheese pizza, and then you go to any taqueria and order tacos de pastor or just a pastor and you put it over your pizza, and it's amazing. It's a Mexican hack.
Well, can American people who are like crafters make and sell things in Mexico?
Sure.
Yeah, to do it legally, you would have to get a business license. I'm not encouraging you to not do it legally, but I will say I know that most people don't go get a business license.
Yeah.
Or permission to work or anything before doing that.
Because many people also work online. Like you sell your products on groups or things like that, and then you just have like delivery points or things like that, and that's how things work here. So let's just be honest.
Grateful Expat says, I'm looking into opening a bank account in Mexico. BBVA seems to be the best option. Your thoughts? So BBVA is usually the go-to for most Mexicans opening a bank account. However, it might not be the best for you as a foreigner coming here. And for that, what's the name of the bank you were thinking about getting an account with? Intercam. Intercam is the one that most people end up going with because they just have the best service for foreigners. I'm going to post the name of that in the chat here. And if you get a bank account with Intercom, you can have ATM withdrawals without fees from not only them, but also all of their partner banks. And there's quite a few of them. But also, like, for example, you can write a check from your US bank account in dollars, give it to them at your Intercom branch in Mexico, and then they'll deposit that into your Mexico account in pesos. So they can do things like that other banks don't do. So they make it pretty easy for people.
Mike, have you taken your burrito to a Mexican wedding yet? No. We haven't been to any weddings.
Yeah.
It's because all my friends, my closest friends, are married already, and they married a lot of time ago. And my cousins are married again, or most of them are younger. The same with my friends. So honestly, I don't know anyone who could get married really soon. But we went to a prom and it was horrible because I mean, the prom and the food was good, but the music was horrible because it was just reggaeton all the time. And we were like, okay, we've been here listening to just reggaeton for like 45 minutes. Let's go. And we ran. But that's not the way that weddings usually like take place. Weddings are much more fun.
Juan says, it looks like you get annoyed of each other sometimes. I'm sure.
Yeah, who doesn't?
And then we fight. And then we make up. And then we cuddle.
Actually, I think we had a very good relationship, a very weird and good relationship. We're very annoying with each other, but not in a rude way. Like, yeah, exactly. Just playing. We basically know our limits.
New subscriber, hola. Why do you have to order the pizza? Well, it's getting to be, it's almost 9 p.m. here. And
not a
we're
lot
gonna
of
need some
businesses
food.
are open. We had an early lunch. We work out a lot at the gym and we're hungry.
And we honestly have very little food in the house right now.
Right now, just fruit.
Just some fruit that we got today. And before getting that fruit, we didn't have anything.
Because we're living soon. Not super soon, but soon.
Michael says, what do you feel about the US dollar to Mexico conversion or Mexican peso conversion being below 20 for so long now? Do you feel like it will go up this year? So the best currency traders in the world might only get this right a little more than 50% of the time. So speaking short term, you can't believe me or anybody else who thinks they know what they're talking about. Speaking in the longer term, I do study this kind of thing a lot, and I'm afraid it's going to get worse, like for us dollar holders, over the longer term, like talking a year. But in the short term, it could go anywhere. But even in the longer term, don't listen to me. That's just my opinion. Pineapple on pizza, for or against?
I like it at pizza at pizza de pastor. Pizza de pastor with pineapple, it's really good. Pizza hawaiana, like it normally have like ham and pineapple. I don't love it, and also because here so many places add very weird things like cherries and bananas to pizza hawaiana, and I think that's not cruel, but yeah, it depends. I think it depends.
I used to be of the opinion that there were two kinds of people in this world. Those who like pineapple on their pizza and those who were sane. As I've gotten a little bit older, I've come to appreciate pineapple on pizza a little bit more, but I'm definitely still against it.
It depends. She is doing a question. I don't know. It's saying, can you answer my question? Really important. I don't know what.
I didn't even see the question.
I didn't see it.
Where's Laska?
Sleeping in the kitchen.
Yeah, out there napping somewhere. She walks in here every once in a while. And then Bimba and Laska were chasing each other earlier. Now they're probably tired. Edward says, "Mile."
Your pizza pastor, as I do not like very honestly. Yes.
Raquel says, may I suggest you visit Aguas Calientes during La Feria de San Marcos and video your time there, please? You know, I would love to go back to Aguascalientes, whether it's during the feria or not. I really like that place. And the people there are so nice.
Mm,
Have you been to Aguascalientes?
see, a long time ago, but yeah.
I remember like going there and thinking, gosh, everybody here is so nice. And then later I learned it's called La Tierra de la Buena Gente, like the land of the good people. And I think they try to live up to that. Paris, I miss y'all. Are y'all with child yet? Yes, we are with child.
Bimba, they are talking to you. Voltea.
That child, little puppy child. Life's tough. Thanks for the super chat. Are you worried that the US dollar will collapse and going central bank digital currency? That means Americans who are in Mexico on pension or Social Security will be stuck with no US dollars. I haven't really thought this through, but I mean, I definitely think they want to bring in a central bank digital currency because it gives them more control, and they'll come up with some reason like as to why it's good for the people, but I think that'll just be propaganda, whatever reason or reasons they come up with. But yeah, what will be the catalyst to introduce a central bank digital currency? I don't know, but some kind of collapse, some type of financial system collapse could definitely be the excuse they need to introduce that. And as for the second part of that, that means Americans who are in Mexico on pension or Social Security will be stuck with no dollars. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I would assume they would figure out some way to make that work, and I'm sure there would be businesses that would pop up to help people who are living abroad if that was a problem with it. But I don't know. It's all speculation. Y'all starting to look alike. Tell you what, Paris. So I went to Costco. I got these pants. I got these pants for the gym. And they're nice. I like them. They're like a dark gray color. They have some zipper pockets on them. They're very comfortable. I get home. I put them on. My sees them and she's like, I want those. So there we are driving back to Costco.
I appreciate that you took me to Costco.
to get her these pads. So they only had them in men's, but she just got the smallest men's size, and they work.
Why not?
And she loves these. She loves these these men's pants that I got. And then one day I'm wearing them. And then we're like going somewhere. I forget where we're going. And then she goes to change and she puts on her pants. So we're leaving the house wearing the same pants.
What's the matter about that? Nobody's gonna notice. You're just doing a huge drama about nothing. And she was not talking about that. She's talking maybe because we both are wearing blue.
Yeah, but I thought that was a time to share the story about you stealing my pants.
I didn't steal your
You're
pants.
stealing my style.
No, of course not. But those are pretty comfortable, by the way.
Mauricio, thanks for the $1 super chat. I appreciate that. I'll look for another comment from you since this comment was blank. Jordan, when will you be getting a haircut? I tried to get one last week, but my barber was busy. So hopefully this week.
He does a great job. Every time he goes to get a haircut there, I'm like, oh my gosh. You should go.
Ma, if your legs are killing you, you should elevate them on Jordan's shoulders. Tested and proven. That's funny.
I mean, I'm just having a lot of muscle pain because I worked out my legs at the gym last time, and I'm starting to weight more. So I'm I just have to get used to that. And weather has been really cold recently, so I think that's increasing the pain.
Ivan says, the best prank I saw in your videos. Looks like the milk has gone bad. I'm copying that.
I have
Thanks.
to figure out more things like that.
That was funny. If you guys didn't see that, she took one of the milk cartons and then taped a knife to it and then drew like a little face on it. So it had this mad face and looked like it was holding a knife. So I go to the fridge and I see a Post-it note on the fridge saying, I think the milk has gone bad. And then I open it and there's this angry milk carton with a knife.
But you were at the very beginning like, what? He just left me a Post-it. She should have put it in the trash.
Yeah, if the milk's bad, why don't you just throw it away? It was like, okay, maybe it's a cultural difference. Maybe you just leave a note. And then if they agree, then you throw it away. No pineapple on pizza. Blasphemy. Yeah. Pina está bien.
I think it depends. I still think it depends.
Jim says Dollar app is a good online bank for Mexico too. It sends a debit card to your Mexico address and gives you a virtual debit card if you don't have a Mexico address for the mini Mexico card only places. Yeah, and Jim, I was actually considering doing a video on this because I think it has its benefits, like the benefits you just laid out here, and also there's some cash back benefits that come with it as well. But I want to do the video on this because I also think it has some dangers. For example, it uses cryptocurrency, and lately these crypto companies are one company after another is going bust and people are losing all their money. So like the fact that it's crypto related scares me right now is with all these companies going bust and people losing their money and the contagion in the system because a lot of companies hold the tokens of other companies and you're using them as collateral. And then there's all these people on trading on margin and then like the risk of margin calls during price declines. I don't know. There's just so much risk in the system that it makes me nervous to put very much money into anything crypto related. And also something to know about this is like you have to report on your tax return if you've had any crypto transactions. And every time you would use that debit card, that's a crypto transaction. So that could make taxes for US citizens more complicated. So those are my two things that I like kind of would have been talking about in a video if I did one on that. But yeah, like you said, it definitely has some benefits there. And I run into that problem a lot with online companies here not accepting my US cards. And it can be frustrating. Like trying to sign up for Amazon Prime, for example. I can't do that unless I have a Mexican card. I wanted to sign up for this service. I forget what it's called, but basically it was this thing where you can watch live TV online. And it's like $10 a month or something, but you get all of your sports from the US. Like I wanted to sign up to watch the hockey games, but I couldn't because they only accept Mexico cards and it was frustrating. So that's one workaround. Mauricio, thanks for the super chat. What's the average amenities you can get in Mexico? Internet speed, home security, private security, solar panels, etc. I mean, you can get all of these. It just depends on your budget. like most places you rent are going to have fiber optic speeds available where you can buy as fast as internet as you want. But it just depends how much you're willing to spend. Ruben, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. Life stuff. I'm sorry that I missed your super chat. I'm behind on comments and trying to get caught up here. I'll look for something from you. I think we got one from you, but do you think there will be a nuclear war? I sure hope not. That's worst case scenario. Paul asked, have you ever thought about moving further south, such as Panama or Costa Rica? It's crossed my mind in the past, but not recently. Have you ever thought about moving?
Oh.
No. What are you laughing at?
Ma, you can cut his hair. I've been telling him a lot of times, I can cut your hair for free. I won't charge you. And he's like, no, thanks.
I'm okay. Thank you. Maria with the $20 super sticker. Thank you very much. You made my voice go up 2 octaves, so I appreciate that. Life's tough. Thanks for the super chat.
Can you scroll up and answer my other question right before this super chat, please?
Okay.
Scroll and look for it.
Okay, this one. So this must be the super chat I missed earlier. Sorry about that. When you get approved for Mexican temporary residency and you have to go to the Mexico office when you get to Mexico, do you have to have a Mexico address? I plan on going back to the USA for a while. So yes, you have to write a Mexico address down on a piece of paper, but they don't enforce anything. It doesn't matter. For example, people will use the address of their lawyer that's helping them, or they'll use the address of the Airbnb they're staying in while they're there. Just like when you get a new place and when you're living in Mexico, just go through the process to inform immigration of your change of address. I think that's how you can do it while still basically they want to be informed when you have a change of address, and they want to know where you're living. So I think that's the best solution. Use the address of an Airbnb or something if you don't have an address here, and then advise them when you actually do have an address and do that change of address with them. Matt, do you think the dollar will fall to the peso long term, such that Mexico won't be a viable place to live because it's getting more expensive? Long term, what are we talking, 5 or 10 years? I don't know. I have an idea of what the dollar will do, but I have much less of an idea of what the peso will do, and the exchange ratio depends on both. So long term, 5 or 10 years, I don't know if I can even try to make a guess. Juan asked, would you ever do an OnlyFans? No, I'll leave that for my ex. You didn't answer my question. Did you call the police and report that Uber guy since you had all his info?
You didn't answer my question. Did you call the police and report that Uber guy since you no. Because unfortunately, people police won't do anything. So if I had gone to the police, it was going to, unfortunately, it's like, what you're reporting, you're fine. And the process of a report, it's exhausting, it's hard, and
But did you report it to Uber? Because reporting to Uber is something you
no,
could
but
definitely do.
at that time, right now, after all the problems that started happening with kidnapping and murders of women, Uber started and increased their security measures at the app. But at that time, I couldn't do it. So of course, I just sent that. I didn't feel safe with this guy, and they said like, okay, we're gonna check it out, and that's all. But I mean, they supposedly told me that Uber has a system. Well, they won't hire a person that has some, like, I don't know how to say it in English, but antecedentes penales, like that has committed some kind of
Like has a criminal history.
criminal history. But also another Uber, we were once talking about it, and he told me that there's a ways to skip that. So many people lie about it. So they don't have like criminal history, but they started doing it recently, or it's not reported, or because of many people doesn't like talk about it, nobody knows about it. So they just told me that. I reported at the app. I don't know if he still works there, but going to the police, it's not. I think I should, but we don't do it because, as I said, it's exhausting and it's hard. And anyway, we think that sometimes it's just a waste of time because they won't do anything anyway.
Y'all got 5G in Mexico. 5G came to Queretaro like maybe 8 months ago was when I first noticed it show up. But they don't have it everywhere here. You don't have 5G coverage everywhere in the city, but in some places, yeah. So our pizza's here.
I know. Sí, bueno.
Security's calling her.
Sí, por favor. Gracias, hasta luego, buenas noches. Bye.
Jonathan asked, any observations about American faux pas while in Mexico? Could be cultural or social, not Jordan, but Americans generally around. Do you know what a faux pas is?
No.
So what's a cultural faux pas? What's an example? Basically, it's doing something you're just not supposed to do in that culture. So for example, a cultural faux pas in the US as a Mexican going to the US would be like doing this to say thank you to somebody. Because that's something.
Sí, bueno.
Oh.
Sí, bueno.
What's that?
It was a security again, but
You couldn't hear anything?
they were with our Uber guy there because I could listen to the engine of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
But they weren't talking to me. They were talking between them. So.
Okay. So like if someone does this in the US, it's very rude. Like this is something that's rude. Here it means thank you. But so if a Mexican went to the US and did this, that would be a cultural faux pas because it's something that's considered very rude in the US, but it's a sign of like appreciation here. So, damn, I can't think of any.
I honestly can't think of any because
I know I've done some, but
I don't know. Maybe one. It's like the one we were talking about one day that we say please and thank you for literally everything, even like like the smallest things. Like if you want, for example, a napkin, and I will say, can you give me a napkin, please, and thank you. And we do all that all the time. And when we are kids, our parents raised us to say por favor, like please and thank you, gracias, for literally everything. And in that case,
I gotta go get the pizza.
sometimes he was like, I've noticed that he wasn't saying to me por favor or gracias for some small things, and then he told me it's not necessary because this is a very small thing, and for me everything needed to be that way. And once I was like, okay, this is rude. So that's one of the things I could think about. I've spent some time with another like American citizens, and I honestly haven't noticed anything that I consider that it's rude. I think we're very similar, like with basic interactions, like going out to a restaurant or meeting up for coffee or whatever. I haven't noticed anything like really bad, but if I can think about something else, I'll let you know. Alaska wants a pizza. Maybe Michael says talking about abortion will be a faux pas. I don't know. I mean, right now there are a lot of people that nowadays it's talking more about abortion, and it has become legal in some cities here in Mexico. Many like 10 years ago or something like that, it had been like a taboo or something that people didn't want to talk about. But recently, I don't think it's that way, honestly. Laska, stay away the pizza. Laska, show up because there's food.
Soul Rock, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. I don't see a comment from you. Hey, don't knock our light over. It's so windy outside. It's like a freaking tornado outside the front door. But anyway, we should go eat some food. Thank you so much for joining our live chat. I know it's been a little while. Try to do it more often. By the way, if you haven't seen it, there's been some videos posted. I posted 4 Vegas videos, 3 videos from Cancun. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out. And we'll see you next time. Thanks everyone for joining, commenting, and sending super chats. And big thanks to all the channel members and moderators and all of you. Really appreciate all you. You have a good night.
They want you to show pizza, but Bimba gonna eat it if you do that.
I'll show pizza before I go.
Pasta pizza.
Like Tahoe Jam, thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate that.
Bimba,
and for being a channel member. Okay. I'll hold Bimba, and you can show the pizza.
Chili pepper, ketchup. Oh, this is a pastor pizza. So
it has pineapple.
What I'm doing? So it has pineapple. It has onion. It has peppers, jalapenos, pastor, lots of cheese. Smells amazing. Laska's coming. Oh my gosh! Goodbye. Bye.
Laska, they haven't seen you. Will you say hi? No? Okay. All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. Ah!